This should never happen in America, said Judge McConnell as he issued a new ruling in the SNAP benefits case. I'm a lawyer in real life, I don't play one on television. The judge in the Rhode Island who is hearing one of the cases filed by organizations to get people SNAP benefits in November has issued another ruling. This is Thursday, November 6th, and he has said that the government must fully fund SNAP benefits. The judge very strongly stated from the bench that he thought what was happening was political. And he pointed to the comments that Trump had made threatening just this week to halt all food stamp payments until the end of the shutdown. The judge warned that millions of poor families could go hungry in the absence of reliable food aid, and he gave the government until Friday to make the SNAP payments. So that is tomorrow. So will we see SNAP payments tomorrow? Given the administration that we're dealing with, I would be very surprised if there were SNAP payments made tomorrow. I'm very hopeful for all the families out there who are relying on this SNAP payments that they do in fact see SNAP payments. But given the administration we're dealing with, it may not happen. Now, this article goes on to note that the USDA has admitted that it had ample funds to continue the program, but it took the intervention of the federal courts to try to force them, and all they've agreed to do so far is to make partial payments. So that's where we are now. Today is Thursday, November 6th. We'll have to see what the USDA actually does. So you all let me know if you agree with Judge McConnell that this was political, that the reason that they have withheld the SNAP benefits were for political reasons. If you agree, like I do, raise your hand in the comments.
The Supreme Court has ordered this administration to release the SNAP benefits so that people can get the benefits so that they can buy food and take care of their families and their loved ones. And guess what happened? This same administration went back to the court and appealed that, hey, don't allow us to give out this money because we don't want to spend it. We don't want to give out the SNAP benefit. And the question people are asking is that, what is happening? Is it that the money has been misappropriated, or what exactly? This money belongs to the federal government. In essence, it belongs to the people. So why would the president say that he doesn't want to give the money out, and they appeal the case? And a lot of people are asking questions, and they are beginning to feel that, is there anything fishy about this? Are there things Americans do not know that is happening about the fund, about everything that is happening? Because the court has ruled, and the administration said no. The Republicans said no, we don't want to give out the money. Well, I have a lot of dimensions to the story, but I won't say any of that until we have watched these videos that I've put together for you guys to watch, so that we can begin the conversation. I haven't watched these clips. Credit belongs to original creator of these videos I'll be playing for you. And please listen to the end, because I want us to begin the argument, the reactions, and the commentary based on what we've heard. Thank you guys. And if today is your first time, do me a favor, like, subscribe to this channel so that this video can go viral and people can know exactly what is happening. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
At this point, you should have no doubt that Donald Trump is looking to make poor people suffer. Why in God's name, once it was finally approved by the USDA and they were going to release the full SNAP benefits to all recipients as of yesterday on Friday, and he goes into the Supreme Court with an emergency appeal, so they automatically paused those payments. Now, I think a hearing will prove otherwise, and the Supreme Court will tell him, no, you can't do this. But you have to ask yourself, why is he doing this? Why does he not want poor people to get the money, the SNAP benefits to pay for food? It's not his money. Does he just want to see people suffer? Or has he stolen that money? I'm sorry, but has he taken that money? Has he misappropriated those funds, let's say. Because remember, with the government shutdown, ICE agents were not being paid and the military wasn't being paid. And then he scrambled around and found ways to get ICE agents paid and also military. Where'd that money come from? There was a donor who did like, I don't know, 10 million or something dollars, which was like a crumb for the military budget. I think the Senate Republicans have had it with Trump. There's a rumor that they're all starting to turn on him because this has gone too far. In California, people with SNAP benefits got their money yesterday because California had the money. They had money in a fund, and so California paid the benefits out. But I'm hearing today that New Jersey did not pay their benefits out because they didn't have extra funds in their SNAP account. So this back and forth thing is driving everyone crazy, and it's not going to end well for this administration. They try to make everything bad that happens, blame it on the Dems, but it's not going to work.
Well, what do we have here? Breaking news, everyone. Trumpelstiltskin now wants to be the savior of SNAP. He posted this on Truth Social just a short time ago, saying that the government lawyers don't think they have the legal authority to pay it, but 2 federal courts say they have to. Those federal court rulings came out of Boston and Rhode Island today, ordering the administration to at least partially fund SNAP. Now he's instructing the government lawyers to ask the judges for clarification on how they can legally do it. Oh, gee, I don't know. Maybe how you've always funded it in the past when governments have shut down and SNAP benefits had to be sent out? That emergency fund that the USDA has? That's a good place to start. But honestly, I called this, so many other creators called this, and he does this with this app too. Comes in at the last minute, swoops in, saves the day, savior of the people. He does go on to say that these benefits will not be available on November 1st. They're going to be delayed. And by the way, it's not the Democrats' fault. The Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House. And by the way, the Senate, they went home. And the House canceled their vote on Monday, so it doesn't look like the government is going to open anytime soon.
Hope you have a second to listen to this. In the midst of all the debate about SNAP benefits and the people who are getting them, I ran across this on Facebook. I thought it was great perspective from a woman named Tyara Webb. Got her permission to share it here with you, and I'm going to try to condense her words for time here. But basically she says, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I've been employed in the social services field since 2018. Food stamps and Medicaid is literally my job, she says. First and foremost, undocumented immigrants have always been ineligible for benefits. That's the first thing they check is citizenship or legal status. So she pushes back on the narrative that all these benefits are going to undocumented immigrants. That's never been the case, no matter what you see on the news or in the For You pages. She's in the trenches 5 days a week and says if you see somebody at the grocery store with a food stamp card, they either have the status to legally get it or they're using someone else's, which is a completely separate argument. Just because they look the way they do, or maybe don't speak English, that doesn't mean they're here illegally. Secondly, the majority of their clients are white. This also shouldn't matter, but since non-white people are being accused of taking all the benefits, let me clear that up. Third, the majority of their clients are employed. Yeah, they work. If they don't, they themselves are disabled or have severely disabled kids. She goes on to say the cost of living has not kept up with average wages. People need help. You've got folks making $13 an hour when the average rent in her area is more than $1,000. So if you make $1,040 biweekly before taxes, one paycheck is less than your rent. And then there's utilities, car payments, gas, incidentals like laundry powder, toilet paper, and daycare costs. She goes on to say, heaven help our disabled clients that have to make an amount similar to this one paycheck last for an entire month. She then says, if you have never needed these benefits, then good for you. But a lot of people do, and for good reasons that they are in no way, shape, or form mandated to explain to you. The majority of people in the U.S. have less than $5,000 in savings, and we are one step away from needing the benefits people are laughing about. All it takes is a layoff, a heart attack, a stroke, a car accident, an unplanned pregnancy can tip the scales out of favor in an instant. She goes on to say that food stamps and Medicaid got her through when she was a single mom in college who was working 2 jobs and still fell short. These benefits supported her and her son so that she could take the steps to build a better life without having to worry. Unless you had to make a choice between food and diapers, she says, I suggest you sit this one out. She then goes on to say that if you'd like to help out, maybe donate to a local food bank. And just shares, I think, some perspective that is really needed right now. When you think about 40 million people being on SNAP, we can have great discussions about how this program is allocated, how it's administered, all those things. But at the end of the day, there are some really good people who are receiving these benefits, and maybe an empathetic perspective is what's needed. And I want to thank Tyara Webb for sharing hers.
So I shut everything down for an hour or two tonight to hang out with MJ, and I came back online and found out that the Trump administration appealed the food stamp ruling, the SNAP ruling, all the way to the Supreme Court. They went to the Supreme Court to say, don't make us spend this money to feed the hungriest people in this country. I just had to come back on here and tell you that in case you didn't know, because that to me is perhaps the most insane thing I have ever heard in my life. I already did a video today about the fact that they appealed this ruling to the First Circuit, but now they've gone to the Supreme Court because they're so indignant. They're so angry that a court is trying to force them to spend money on the neediest people in our country. Let alone $40 billion to Argentina, no problem. $3.5 trillion in tax cuts for the very wealthiest people and the biggest corporations, the Exxons, the Amazons in our country, no problem. Ballroom, $300 million and counting, no problem. Trump parties at Mar-a-Lago and in the White House, no problem. But to the Supreme Court for the SNAP ruling, because how dare you ask the government to spend 1 penny of its money on the poor, the struggling, and the needy, and this from an administration that sells Bibles with this president's name on them. This is insanity. Tell everybody you know. Make sure they know. People are not following the news. Tell them that the Trump administration is going to the Supreme Court to beg them for relief from this ruling. Because that is the only kind of relief they understand, is the relief that frees them from the obligation to think about anybody who is needier than them. Shame on them.
There is a rhetoric that illegal and undocumented migrants are the ones that have been taking the SNAP benefit. But of course, in the video, one of the clips you just watched, you can see clearly by an expert that has been doing this job for many years, who said, push that thought aside. It is not true. It is not correct that it is undocumented migrants that are taking a SNAP benefit, that it is not true that the people that are liable, that are eligible to taking SNAP benefit are the people that are qualified. And of course, one of the criteria is that once you want to get the SNAP benefit, your details will be asked from you. And of course, it is based on that the SNAP benefit will be given to you. So this rhetoric that, undocumented migrants are the ones taking the SNAP benefit, just as this administration has said, it said it's not true. It is far from the truth. And that has been debunked, like we know. Now, the real question is, why is this administration bent on making people go hungry, even when the Supreme Court has ordered that the money should be released, that this administration should not withhold the fund from being given to the people? So these are the questions in the heart of the people. And people are saying, now we know that the benefits goes into the hands of the right Americans. So that has been trashed out. That they do not have any reason to say that was the reason why they are not releasing the fund. It is now clear and evident that the fund is going to the right and the right set of people that it is meant for. So the question is, why is it still being appealed against? Why is this administration repelling this court verdict that the money should be released? And of course, from present information, facts on ground, it is evident that a large majority of white folks are actually benefiting from this. And of course, black folks too are also benefiting. So when we begin to juxtapose, just to ascertain if these people are real Americans, yes, it has been ascertained, it has been confirmed that the people that are getting the SNAP benefit are real Americans, and the needy and the desperate ones, the poor in the society. Now, there's this narrative that this government only favors the billionaires, the big boys in the society. Example is the tax cut that has been given to those people. Why the average person, the people that are working 2-3 jobs are paying every tax. Those guys pay little or nothing when it comes to tax. Is it not evidence? Is it not evident that these are a set of people that the government is favoring? Is it not obvious that this administration only wants to favor the rich, the billionaires, the people that are in his caucus, in his club? And this is why everybody is against this reality. But hey, there's little you can do. When the law has spoken and the administration refuses to respect the other by also countering the other with the law, of course, he has gone to appeal. And people are saying, what is wrong with this administration? And this is the question I'm also asking, because a lot of people are dying of hunger. Families are stranded. People are begging just to eat, just to be able to feed their family, just to get by. I mean, they say Christmas is coming, and people want to give the best to the family, at least feed their family, the younger ones, the babies, the children, so that they can be able to at least eat a good food. I leave you guys to decide this case. What do you guys feel? What is happening? Put me in the information, because it's like everything has been said and done. The Democrats are saying we are not in support of you cutting the SNAP benefit, but Republicans are saying otherwise. The government is shutting down. The government has shut down, not shutting down. It has shut down, and they're still counting. And all of these things are happening at the same time, and Americans are becoming desperate. They are begging that this is the only thing that they need. Let it be released for them so that they can feed their family. I await your comment, your perception, and view at the comment section as we begin the conversation. Thank you guys for watching. And if today is your first time, do me a favor, like and subscribe to this channel so that you can get updated whenever I post videos like this. Only when you turn the notification button on. Don't forget, avoid trouble. Avoid anything that is contrary to peace, because your life matters. Bye-bye.